Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, transformative journey in consciousness with a community of like-minded people, which is you. My name is Tomek. I'm a teacher here on Inside Timer, a scientist, and also a transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. As always, this is an invitation for you to have your own direct first-hand experience and emerge on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being, which means a bit transform, a bit different, knowing yourself a bit better. Thank you for joining me in this session of Conscious Living Collective. I see so many wonderful familiar faces, and I want to start with acknowledging your presence here because it's Conscious Living Collective, which means that we work here together. And today it's a very good episode to talk about it because I will be talking about the transformative power of collective towards the end of the session. Who do I see here? Hello, Sandy. Hello, Cindy. Judy, Amanda, Karen, Pavane, Matthew. Oh, hello, Mary. Good to see you. Alicia, Gwendolyn, Anne, Christina Grace, I think, raising hand to say she's a first timer here. Good to see you here. Diane, Meg. I want to also acknowledge my wonderful patrons, or the members of my patron program, my wonderful friends who has been supporting me through my journey, through our journey together for all these years. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your presence. I always think about you as the energy and frequency holders. You are the people who hold the space for all of us here. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, only know me from Inside Time or CLC, I want to tell you I am supported by a group of absolutely wonderful people without whom this wouldn't be the same. I feel very, very supported. Okay, Fiona Renee, good to see you here. Emily, I can see your wonderful faces, even those of you who didn't say anything. I can still see your faces floating under my screen, and that reassures me that we are in the right place. And I want to ask how many of you have been to the previous episode, which was, by the way, a whooping success. I actually did not expect this session to be so wonderful. The session was called Healing the Anxious Heart. It goes without saying, we are all in a deep need of healing. And today we will continue that journey. Yeah, I know, Parvana, you were there. Hello, Tosca. Gwendolyn. The reason I'm asking is because I do want to bring a bit back what we discussed in this session, in the previous session, because it is very much connected with the topic today, that is when the body holds the fear. Once again, goes without saying that we live in the world that gives us many reasons to be afraid. And I really want to address that in today's session and gives us tools to work with fear and to understand fear. And as I said in the beginning of our session, to emerge on the other side transformed. And right before I start, I just want to share with you this meditation. Tell me if you can see it on your screen. Healing the Anxious Heart. There we go. This is a new meditation I just published that is about our previous session. And it is the practical part. For those of you who are joining for the first time, a brief explanation of the sessions of Conscious Living Collective. We start with the discussion, and then we have the first-hand experience. And the first experience is fundamental for us to integrate the knowledge that we acquired during the discussion and the understanding. So let me know if, by the way, if you can see that, they call it card, wonderful Inside Timer dashboard allows me to post things during, yes, thank you, Parvana. Yeah, okay. So you can, I think, directly click on it. I'm kind of testing it with you. So thank you for your understanding and helping me to work with the resources at my disposal. You can listen to this meditation as the most important reference to our previous session. Even if you didn't attend the session, you can still listen to this meditation. And most importantly, you can see my session on YouTube. I simultaneously stream this session here on Insight Time onto YouTube because apparently the quality of the recording on YouTube is better. I spoke to other teachers and they informed me that the sound is a bit better and quality of the video is better on YouTube. I don't know why. I still want you here, to be honest. I love our community of Insight Time. I don't want you to split between here and there. I'd like you to see you here. Gwendolyn says, I can't see it. It's maybe because I'm viewing on my phone. Potentially. Hello, Seth. Yeah. We are strong in presence today. So anyway, okay, good. Gwendolyn, when you go to my profile, this is my latest offering. So just go to my profile and you can find it there. You're not losing anything in case we're worried. But I want to create a bridge between, like I said, a wonderful session we had last week and today's session because fear and anxiety are similar, but they are indeed different animals. Fear, as we will discuss today, has an object. And the fear is very present, focused, and specific, whilst anxiety, and I refer you to your own personal feeling about it, checking in with yourself during this session. Anxiety is more diffused and future-oriented. It's mostly a threat response with not specific object. That's why working with anxiety, it is a bit more tricky. Anxiety has a slightly different neurological pathway. I will discuss in a second. But for us, in order to distinguish between fear and anxiety, is to ask yourself question. Or the fear and anxiety, I would say, they ask a bit different question. Fear asks, what am I facing? And anxiety asks, what uncertainty can I not tolerate? See? Fear, present moment, focused. Anxiety, future, focused. So when we answer these questions, they let us in. I'm going to turn off the card now. They let us into the body in slightly different way. And right here, maybe to make it very more practical, and for those of you who are joining for the first time, I intend the sessions of Conscious Living Collective be very practical. As an academic, I like theory. I like talking about concepts and ideas, but I know this may feel as preaching. And we get out of the session and get nothing out of it except of maybe a good feeling. No, I want it to be more practical. So let's start here and now asking, is there anything that you are afraid of right now? Ask yourself that question. What am I facing that I am afraid of? And feel free to share that in the comment section. I would love to hear your responses. And for me, I am afraid of not being enough. This is something that it is in the background my constant companion. Even when I joined Conscious Living Collective, I am constantly checking with myself and being afraid that what I'm creating here, what I'm facilitating, is not good enough. And how I'm feeling it right now, it's interesting in my stomach. But I will ask you right now, what are you afraid of? What are you facing right now that creates that sensation? Linda, I am healthy 77-year-old, but I'm afraid of all those things that came with old age. Aging is inevitably a fear of survival. It goes without saying that we going towards the end of the journey, or we certainly have passed the middle point of the journey, and that survival is being threatened. And this is, by the way, one of the fundamental fears that everybody has. So, Linda, let me just say that this is normal. I want to normalize it right here, right now, that fear is not your enemy. It's a fundamental response of your nervous system towards facing the inevitable, right? So I'm right here with you. For Meg, okay, Meg just responds, was in CDV either and had to force quit inside timer and come back. Then, by the way, thank you, Meg, for bringing that up. This is turning things off and then back on again. It's usually the best way of restarting the session. So thank you for troubleshooting this. Harmony, I am dealing with health scare and they are doing additional testing and I'm afraid of the diagnosis. So I've been having a lot of anxiety. And this is, you see how fear meets anxiety here. Thank you, Harmony, for sharing that, because this is a great example of, I said that fear and anxiety are different animals. Fear is in the present and anxiety is mostly the anticipation of the unknown future. But here in Harmony's example, fear and anxiety meet very closely because it is the right here, right now, but also, am I uncertain about my diagnosis? The uncertainty about the future. And right here, right now, the question to Harmony, how does it present itself in your body? If you move your awareness from the thought process to your bodily sensations, which we'll discuss in just a second. Diane, making the right choice in different life decisions and constant change and unknowns. Thank you, Diane. Once again, how many of you can raise your hand and say that we share that with Diane? That we are afraid, there's a fear of making the right choices. Am I doing it right? Am I presenting this topic to you in a way that is palpable? Am I good enough in presenting it? And obviously the unknown that refers to the situation in the future. Rochelle, I am afraid of letting people get too personally close to me. That's a big one, Rochelle. Thank you for sharing that. We are afraid of being vulnerable because we've been hurt in the past so much. Once again, how close is that to the survival mechanism that evolved millions of years ago, to trying to protect you from the immediate danger? In the past, that would take a form of saber-toothed tiger trying to attack you. But today, in the absence of saber-toothed tiger, the same mechanism refers to being vulnerable, being exposed, letting other people in. So very common. Thank you for sharing that, Rochelle. Joanne, same as Linda, being 80 years old and fear of the future and leaving this world, and that I love looking for healthy longevity in mind and body. So we have the theme here. And once again, the fear of unknown, that we don't have certainty, right? Something that is so common in us. Right here, for parvana uncertainty and the state of the world right now and how it will affect us. Who wouldn't be afraid of the fact what is happening right now? So now let us ask yourself if that fear that you're experiencing is rational or irrational. And my answer to it, as I try to point out, everything that you're afraid of right now, it's absolutely rational and justified. The second question, however, comes to mind. Is it beneficial to stay in the state of fear? Or would you rather learn a new relationship with that fearful emotions and how to do it? This is the topic of today's session. So when I was preparing to this session, oh, there you go. There's my stomach. There's a loss of breath. So clearly I'm sharing with you. I'm empathizing with you right now. We're sharing this space together. Wonderful. So as I was preparing to the session today, I learned quite a few amazing things. And some of them, as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, come from science. Joseph Ledoux, a wonderful neuroscientist who spent his entire career studying fear, identifies two distinct pathways through which the fear sensor and anxiety sensor, which is the amygdala in the middle of your brain, detects. There are two different pathways, and they are very fascinating. The first one is called so-called low road. And the low road is very fast, crude pathway that bypasses your cortex. Cortex is that walnut-shaped structure that is evolutionary, a new structure in your brain, and triggers an immediate fear response before conscious thought is even possible. This is the important thing. So to give you an example of that low road that is why you would jump when you see a stick on your pathway only to realize it's not a snake. It happens so many times. There's no thinking about, is it snake or is it a stick? It is snake. No, you jump. And only later you realize it wasn't it. That's what Joseph Ledoux described as a low road. This pathway goes straight into action. There's no time jumping away from the upcoming bus. There's no time to, is it good? Is it bad? Is it this? Is it that? You just do it. And this road, to tell you, to give you a reference or a background to it, it's super fast. It's 12 milliseconds. 12 milliseconds, 1 millisecond is 1,000th of the second. That's only 12 milliseconds. And the purpose of that is your survival. It's nothing about accuracy. You don't care how fast you jump, how high you jump, you just jump. And only then you analyze the situation. Because the purpose of this system is the system would rather fire 100 times and miss rather than miss one genuine threat. Okay? So this is there to support us, to help us. This is the low road. And now there's the second one, I think, which mostly we are concerned with. It's a slower pathway that routes the information through the cortex and it processes in a more sophisticated way. So for us humans, that walnut-shaped structure in your brain is a result of the long evolution, and that's why we can experience emotions. That's where the information is being processed. And using that pathway from amygdala to cortex takes about 300 milliseconds, which is 0.3 of a second. Still pretty fast, but it gives you an ability to quote unquote rationalize the fear a bit more. And as a result, and this is where your conditioned personality comes handy, it is that response is slightly based on your past experience. Okay? If you had a fearful experiences in the past, this is going to reestablish that very notion that something happened and you should be afraid of it. Okay? Do we have any questions related to that? I think this is important. I give you a bit of a science because I want to establish a new relationship to what fear represents. And in a moment, I also will give you specific tools that will help you to build a new relationship with it. So stay with me. Hello, Lola. Hello, Jeannie. Good to have you here. All right, Harmony asked about an example for the high road, so to speak. So let's take into account the fear that you, Harmony, let me use the live unknown, been so hard, sleeping issues, feel disconnected, intrusive thoughts, lots of tension in my neck and shoulders. So now imagine that you are in a conversation with someone and someone uses a harsh word towards you. And that harsh word that is being used towards you will initiate a fearful response. As I can imagine, you will not jump. Most likely what you will do, you will open your eyes, and I'm going to talk about those responses in a second, and maybe clench your jaw. So what happened in that short period of time when the fear response was generated, and I can imagine that you can call it only later, fear, frustration, disconnection, they have similar roots. But what happened, the mechanism is the same. You base that on the past experience, on your memories, on something that you have already experienced. That's the difference between the low road and the high road, as Ledoux describes it. One, it's completely instinctual, trying to protect you, taking your survival as overt accuracy. The second one is more sophisticated, but also relates to what you have already experienced. And then interesting, maybe part here, how science evolves. And this is a beautiful thing, that even though we know so much about the fear response and the fear mechanism neurologically and physiologically, even Ledoux added to his theory one important aspect. So on top of the low road and high road response, the fast and slightly slower response, he said that all those feelings that we experience, the racing heart, the freezing, the mobilization that is related to the fear response, are actually constructed by the cortex afterwards. So that is the new piece of information. We would think that the fear, as we experience it, is here. And, well, it's not my fault I am afraid, so to speak. But what Ledoux says in his research is that actually the fear response is created in your cortex. It is a result of your past experiences. It means that the implications of that understanding is that the felt experience of fear is more malleable than we think. And that would lead us to the experiential part of our session, that because of the experience of fear, the high road particularly is more malleable, we can begin working with the body directly to change the story that brain constructed based on our past experiences. Or based on the current understanding of the world. Right now, the war is raging. More and more countries are joining the war. There's a massive distress, as you all understand, in the world. It is only natural to be afraid, but if you let that story run in your, use metaphor, in your cortex, that's exactly what you're going to experience. So now we're taking this story and moving it into the body, and we'll see what's going to happen. So as a result of that, oh, good. Thank you, Harmony. So as a result of that, I want to bring again a bit of first-hand experience. And I'm going to share my experience. I would want to invite you to share yours. So based on that Ledoux theory, the fear has a consistent address in your body. And for me as a scientist, this is something I can work with. It's very difficult to argue with yourself in your mind. That usually leads us the rabbit hole to feeling even worse. But if we discover the address of fear in your body, now we're going somewhere. And what's that typically is? Throat, chest, gut, jaw, legs. The fear for most of the people has very predictable places in your body. And now tell me, from your experience, where do you feel fear in your body? For me, definitely jaw and definitely my throat. To give you an example, in those very fearful situations, you usually are unable to speak. Your breath shortens. You go into that fight-flight response. Your throat contracts. And your interesting scientific fact, your throat contracts because the vagal nerve that runs throughout your body that is responsible for the stress and the fearful response runs through your throat. And as a result, it constricts your muscles in your throat so you're unable to speak. And quite frankly, in a fearful situation, and this is also significant, and I'm getting excited here because this is piece of science that helps me to deal with my fears so much more. When we are afraid, the natural response is, allow myself to talk me. Allow me to talk myself out of the fearful situation. But I tell you what, in the fearful situation, your connection with the cortex is shut down. It's very limited. That ability the cognition is the last thing that you have ability to use. However, what you have access to are the sensations in your body, knowing your fear on the level of the body. So let me use your examples. Okay, Rochelle, jaw and stomach. Karen, neck and jaw. Ooh, Linda, my whole face and shoulders. Parvane starts in my arms and chest, then my head, finally all over. All right? So you almost have like a paralysis there. But that's wonderful. You identified places where the address of the fear in your body. This is so helpful. And now let us build a bit better relationship with those sensations. Okay, we're going behind the story that your cortex created, and we're going into the sensations themselves. So those sensations, they are not symptoms. They are very intelligent physiological response that can be read, understood, and worked with once you know where to look. You, by responding in this way, it's a sign of your intelligence. And it's a sign of your health. Something tries to protect you. By something, I mean your very intelligent and wonderful nervous system, the entire body. So this is a good thing. You should not be ashamed of it. You should not be afraid of that fearful response. This is very natural. There you go, Tosca. Throat, it affects my swallowing. You cannot, because the muscles around your neck are restricted. Sophia, throat and stomach. Seth, chest and throat. Yeah, difficult swallowing. We are onto something. So you see, I love how you're sharing and you validating that your response is not something that you experience alone. This is something that is part of our makeup. That's how we are designed. And let me tell you how intelligent that is. And now, because I will ask you at some point to, again, come back to some fearful memories. And I tell you why this is going to be easy. Fear memories are extraordinarily durable. Right? The theory I mentioned last week, the body keeps the score. The memory of fear lives in your body. And why is that? Because that almond-shaped little structure in your brain, amygdala, encodes fear with exceptional strength. And interesting enough, and this is another scientific fact, that amygdala, unlike other structures in your brain, has the direct access to the hippocampus. And hippocampus is indeed involved in creating long-term memories and dealing with that long-term storage in your brain. So what happens here? We have a clear mechanism. Whatever happens, whatever situation happened that led to that fearful state is almost embedded into your tissue structure. And that is why working with your body, when it comes to fear, is such a powerful tool for healing. It might be not easy, but it's very effective. And today, we will not use our cognition. I will not try to talk you out of the fear. I will try to talk you into feeling your bodily sensations as the addresses where you hold a very important information, i.e. memory, about the past situations. And by going in there together, and I explain in a second why together is important, you'll be able to change the relationship. And what is the changing relationship? It's healing. So that's what we're going to do today. But remember that experience of fear has actually validity in who you are, and it is important to you. So I invite you not to be afraid of being fearful. See what I did there? Do not be afraid of being fearful. Become curious about it, why it happens. And the moment that you bring awareness to that fearful response, particularly how it feels in your body, what the address has in your body, you will start to releasing information that lead to your understanding and creating new relationship with those situations that ultimately make you feel better. Make you feel better because they help you to get to know yourself better. Experience, my favorite equation. Experience plus knowledge equals wisdom. And that wisdom is golden. The wisdom helps us all to live better life, both individually and collectively. This is such an interesting topic, but I'd like to bring only one more aspect to understand the fear and why talking about it together is so important. One of the later developments about fear and fearful behavior, we know fight, flight, freeze. That has been known for a while. Joseph Ledoux and others that contributed to this research. We kind of knew the neurological pathway. We know the parts of the brain that light up in functional MRI and so on and so forth. But the one aspect that I am the most interested in, particularly in the context of CLC, Conscious Living Collective, is this. Connection is the most underrated path through fear. My first invitation was to search for the fear in your body. Okay? And that's very valid. But the polyvagal theory that it's so dominant in any kind of anxious, fearful, heightened state that deals with that nerve that basically runs throughout your body says that nervous system regulatory ability, which we're going to do together in a second, is most effective not through the technique, breathing, focusing on your body, but through safe connection. That is what I try to create here in the sessions of Conscious Living Collective. Is not some theory, not throwing at you some science, but create connection. There's over 100 of us right now from around the world right now. And the beauty of this connection. So I want to, all of you, if you haven't listened until now, please do listen right now, because that listening helps us to create a safe connection. The felt sense of not being alone. And that effect has, more than any other technique, tremendous ability to heal and overcome the fear that you all feel individually. Whether fear relates to your current situation or if it's carried in the story in your frontal cortex. So that's what it is. A group field healing, which by the way will be, I will not bring it up, bring it up just for a moment, will be the topic of our next session. So I just brought up another card if you want to click on it and get notified of the next one, because it's such a powerful thing. I could talk about the theory until my face gets blue. But if you do not experience a positive effects of the group that we create here together, nothing else will matter. And this matters the most. Rosemary, this is a balm to my soul. I think it's a balm to all our souls. The sense of not being alone. And this is also, and I'll be honest with you, I am so careful about using my voice and tending to my own state very carefully. I slow down, not because I want my voice to sound pleasant, but I want to slow down to reflect my own inner state. My job here is that of a facilitator of this space, because if I am not calm, if I am not projecting my own frequency of safety and healing, how do you supposed to feel safe in this situation? So I might be a facilitator here, but you are the follower that actually makes the biggest difference, because you are helping. There's all 128 people, as I can see on my screen, help to get better in a very tangible way, overcoming the fear by not feeling alone and being able to face the situation together. Okay? Okay. I think we come on the 40-minute mark and it's time to start meditating. But again, I would like to talk about it more and more, and ideally have you in person and in a place where you can all experience it together. Because as much as I love sessions of Conscious Living Collective and gather you here in front of your screens, how much more powerful would that be if we were sitting somewhere on the beach, or maybe by the lake. I don't know. I love water, so this is what comes to my mind. But I'm sure that a forest or some opening in the forest would be great too. So, in the spirit of everything that we learned today and everything I presented to you and you reflected on through your comments, thank you very much. Let us jump into meditation that will look for these addresses in your body that fear collected over your entire lifetime. And you only can do it, or you can do it now in a safe space where we all together support each other in this discovery. Harmony, let's do a retreat. Not a bad idea. And as always, I prepared, maybe that nature reference was because I'll be playing to you, once again, Peter Helland. For those of you who, like me, like Peter Helland, just refer to, oh dear, The Hidden Valley. That's the music I'll be playing to you. So again, we will do through a gentle body scan, but not the body scan that you normally know. It's going to be a body scan with a twist, because this body scan is specifically designed to find your information in your body. And everybody is different. Or everybody's body is different because you store information in different places. So as much as we're doing it together, you will be responsible for your own exploration and co-creating that place for everybody else. Okay. I will switch to the meditation screen. Okay. Begin this meditation by making yourself very comfortable. Allow your body to tell you what's the best for it. For me, this usually means sitting upright, resting my feet on the floor with my hands in my lap, in the way that allows unrestricted flow of my breath. This is a great starting point for our exploration. And since this meditation is about discovering the address that fear has in your body, let us gently move inward towards the perception that you have of your inner senses that define your body, so-called interoception, and see for yourself what comes first to your awareness. Any particular part of your body, any place in your body. And if you find it, tend to it with care, as you would come to a good friend that asks for your help. Place your awareness there gently, tenderly, with curiosity, knowing that your body does its best to connect with you, to communicate with you, to keep you in the state of health and well-being. And through that tenderness and care, you're creating a new, fresh relationship based on acceptance and compassion, not rejection and fear. And now that you know that you can explore your entire body with your awareness, let us do a quick scan in a more systematic way, starting at the top of your head, or maybe even a couple of inches above your head, where your subtle body begins. That is frequently where you can connect with form of sensations. For me, it helps if I imagine taking a warm, comfortable shower that washes over me and rinses out all the stagnant energies, all the impurities, anything that no longer serves me. That's why I start at the top of your head and move gently towards my forehead, the back of my head, my eyes, my cheeks, nose, carefully tendering to my face, my lips, my chin, and moving slowly towards my neck and throat, and briefly landing on my shoulders that always carry the heaviness of our human predicament. So I give them my special attention, thanking them for holding the weight of this existence. Check in with your neck, your upper back, and your chest. And move down towards your solar plexus and your belly. Once again, checking if the strength of the perception is a bit stronger there. Check for any sensations that usually hold the information about your life. Again, approaching it with care and curiosity, as if you try to create a relationship with these sensations. Now, move lower towards your pelvis and feel all the sensations that come to you through this part of your body. And now briefly come back to include your shoulders, your arms and your hands that connect in your lap, closing the energetic circuit, and they kind of encapsulate your chest in the energy field, holding it in an embrace. There's a symmetry to it, harmony to it, balance that is naturally being restored as we tender to these sensations. Now open up to the field of your entire upper body, sensing it as a whole, before moving towards your lower body, your thighs, your knees, your calves and shins, eventually including in your awareness your feet, grounding you on the floor. And now, including in your field of awareness the entire lower body. And here, I want to ask you to reflect on your ability to move your awareness throughout your body. And every time you do it, you learn something new. You create a stronger, more compassionate relationship with your body that stores all that information from the past, that, as a matter of fact, stores information about your entire life. And now we are going to move to that information field in a way that is most appropriate for you. So shift your awareness to the part of your body where it needs it the most. Which part of your body asks for your attention, for your awareness now? And once you connect with the sensations of that part of your body, ask a gentle question. What is it that you need right now? How can I care for you in this very moment? Particularly if the sensation that you are experiencing is unpleasant. Perhaps your mind wants you to escape, to resist. I do not want to feel it. I do not want to feel that way. Do it to your own best ability. There's no need to force anything here. It's a beginning of the journey. It's a start of a new relationship, healthy relationship, based on compassion and care, rather than fear and force. So I'll leave you now for a few moments to explore on your own, knowing that I am here by your side, holding the space, exploring on my own, and I'll bring you back when the time is up. And now, once again, expand your awareness to carefully include your entire body, feeling into it gently, carefully, and see for yourself what have changed. Ask yourself, what is your state right now? Do you feel better connected with your physical body, with your interoception? This is the space to which you can always return. It is a space where a new, fresh, healthy relationship begins that is beyond your thinking, beyond your conceptual mind. Feel free to express your gratitude for walking this path, for engaging into this new connection with your inner world, and know that you are supported more than ever by your own body, every organ and every cell that collaborates towards your well-being. And to conclude this meditation, simply take one deep cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you so much for meditating with me. I could feel the power of the collective. As I stated in the last point before the meditation, connection. I could feel that connection is the most underrated path through fear. It's very difficult to stay for long in a fearful state when you're surrounded by such a wonderful, caring collective, I dare say. What do you think? That's just my opinion, a single person. I think it was another very, very powerful session that changed collectively so much in our field. And I really hope that you will carry that peace or the state of your body and connect with others. Radiate it. You don't need to radiate it as in think about it. You're just doing it right now. And I think the only thing I'm asking you about is to have the awareness how much more positive radiance you expel. I don't know how to say it. After this meditation, it certainly feels exhilarating to me. How's it feel to you? Let me maybe ask you this. Rather than assuming what happened to you, I want to share from you your experiences. How did you feel? Seth, the collective felt sensation. I don't know. It feels like I want to create a banner right now and just put it up. The collective, a felt sensation. If that kind of commercials were presented to me in media, I think I would follow it. But I think there's not much money to made on that. The collective, a felt sensation. Beautiful. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Elizabeth. Joanne, coming a peaceful way to meditate indeed. Yes. Parvane, thank you. Anne felt peace and connection. Linda was so releasing. I got tears in my eyes, as you would, because it is a sign of release. Something just came out. Something you just created something new relationship with something in you, and only you can find out what. Karen, very calm. Thank you, Mary. I'm glad you feel connected. Martha felt her introception. That was the idea. Wonderful. And you can carry on, by the way, this relationship not through your mind, but through the understanding of your inner world, which is tremendously powerful. There is a reason why in Buddhism and many other traditions, systematically scanning your inner environment, the interoception as we call it, it's such a powerful tool to awaken, because you begin interacting with the field of information that was always at your disposal, but it was ignored. In today's world, we mostly focus on that walnut-shaped structure, right? We want the intellectual, cognitive understanding of things that relate around touching and seeing and understanding. And we ignore this powerful source of information that stores entire story of our life. Right here, in what you can touch right now. Feel free to put the hand on your chest and give yourself a thanks for engaging in that field of information. There are so many stories there. So many stories that your body can tell you. There's so many stories that you can heal, that you can experience and create new relationship. Q, what if the inner world was affected by childhood trauma and that sits in the body or that sits in the body and trapped? What can be done to break through it? To answer your first question, we all, without exception, have childhood trauma. Why? Because coming to this world is by definition a traumatic experience. Spirit, consciousness, that being captured or trapped in the human body, it is, I can tell you, it is a traumatic experience that we will get over. We will need time to get over throughout this life. But hopefully there's also a lessons to learn. So if you have it there, this is the way to working with it. And that's the way to breaking through it, not through thinking about it, but to sensing your body. And your body will lead the way, Q. Your body will lead the way. And it can help to do it either with our Conscious Living Collective, which is not as personal as it can be because there are almost 170 of us here. But it's good to ask someone who's familiar with it, a therapist. This is the way to work with your body. Ask for somatic therapies. They are specifically known for doing just that. Because the understanding I try to share with you today is that the information that waits to be released is in there. It's already in your cells and in your body. Thank you for asking this question. A long session today. Thank you so much for sticking with me for 1 hour and 8 minutes. I appreciate your presence here and I appreciate you. So right now, the last thing to say, thank you for your presence. Thank you for being part of Conscious Living Collective. The next session that you can subscribe right here, right now, please let me know if you can see this card on your screen. Finding Your People, a group field experience. Once again, the first session in the 3-part series was Healing the Anxious Heart. Today, When Body Holds the Fear. And we will wrap this all up in Finding Your People, a group field experience, because that's the culmination, as I pointed out in this meditation, that's the culmination of our togetherness in Conscious Living Collective, where we build up until this one session where we can feel the fruits of our work, our commitment to the collective, and experience it on the individual level. That will be my intention for the next session. So feel free to click on that card. I think you can click on it and it's going to take you so you can follow it and join us next week. Okay. And also thank you for all your donations. This is a fantastic way of supporting my work and make me worry less about all these things that needs to be taken care of, but I don't find them essential and the meat of the matter, so to speak. I'd rather sit here with you and put my attention into those things. So thank you for alleviating that fear by making these donations. Okay, thank you so much once again for being here, for your wonderful presence, for the healing that you co-created in this space of Conscious Living Collective. I will leave you with Peter Helland and his Inner Valley, and I hope to see you next week. Until next time.